European Army, where are you? Last be having ya. Last be having ya. Lunchtime stream. Big up Saeed. Just about getting ready for the game tonight.
What are you telling me, man?
How's the game preparation for tonight? Are we having it? Oh, what are we having it? England. England. I don't know about that.
Yeah, so it depends on Southgate,
Wales. If England can't beat hopeful granddad heavy Wales, then there's no point.
Yeah, exactly. Wales are absolutely bad, man. They're horrendous, mate. You know what I mean? I think they're still living off Gareth Bale. Again, for me. But you never know, man. They could just be so stubborn tonight. All you have to do with England is sit off them and be a bit aggressive sometimes when you need to. And then Southgate tactically isn't the best. So I think for me, we should win tonight, but you never know, man. You just never know in this football, man. You just never know in this football.
No, you don't know. You don't know with this football. It's going to be a very interesting games this afternoon and tonight.
Netherlands tonight. Ecuador versus Senegal. Hopefully Senegal go through, man. Senegal need to get a result, man, because Ecuador have got 4 points. Senegal have got 3 points, I believe. Is it?
Yeah, I think Netherlands have got 4 points.
No, 4. Same with Ecuador.
Yeah. So Senegal, I really can't see Ecuador beating. I can't see Senegal beating Ecuador, man. If Mane was, maybe. If Mane,
I think for me though, they've got more quality, I think, than a lot of people say. But it just depends as well. Mendy did it in goal. You know what I mean? It's been a bit dodgy this tournament. You know what I mean?
Dodgy ain't the word, mate.
Dodgy ain't the word, man. But Ecuador, I'm telling you now, they play some good football. You know, they've got South American warriors in that team.
They're going to be a big trouble for any of the big teams.
Yeah.
Evening. Where are you? Evening.
He's somewhere in probably
It's 1 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock, Tom. Jump on, lad. Jump on. Let me send him the link here now.
Yeah. Jump on, mate. But yeah, you know what? I think for me, Ecuador, I think, you know, they will give Senegal a big test. But let's see. Hopefully they do it, man. Hopefully they do it. Maybe we're going to see a bit more of Gakpo as well for Holland. But Holland, man, I don't know, man. That's the worst Holland team I've seen, you know. Nuruddin, when you look at the great Holland teams, is that the worst Holland team you've seen? The attack force as well. We at least have Ruud van Nistelrooy, Van Persie, Bergkamp.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. In the last couple of years, the two players that were doing danger were brilliant for Holland was Wijnaldum, Gigi.
Yeah.
Depay. Gigi's out, obviously injured. And Depay was injured as well, and now he's not he's not beginning from the beginning. So when I look at who were the two forwards like Gigi played us like a number 10 behind Depay. They were banging in goals right, left, and centre. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that, to me, losing that potency shows. Man, it shows. I thought you might be working. So where are you in the world? Are you somewhere else? Where is Australia? Evening all.
Evening.
It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, pal.
Evening, afternoon.
Afternoon. Tom's always everywhere, mate. Canary Wharf, so maybe Canary Wharf is evening, innit? Is that what it is? Sheffield's still afternoon. They got
To be fair, you don't know if it's daytime or nighttime. The way it's murky at the minute, the weather is so murky, man.
Oh man,
it's a joke.
Yeah.
Cold out. It's cold. It's cold in these streets. Anyway, big up. Caleb Bailey says, U.S. investment can't afford what Middle East can. Well, we're gonna see anyway, guys. We're gonna see. But let's get into it. So the title is for me one of the most interesting things about Manchester United is the sale. The possible alleged. By the way, we got to keep her like that. So we can't get too giddy because you know the Glazers, man. The Glazers will just do a madness. So
I don't know, Val.
Who are the potential buyers? Who are the potential buyers?
Have you seen the market shares, Nuruddin? They've gone up so much. The market shares that I think they've gone up like $22 per share, Hamden. Like it's the highest that it's ever been. And it does stuff like that in major like real estate or major business in the US doesn't happen unless there's something either put in place or something's along the lines of being completed, whether it's a deal or whatever.
So
Go on, Saeed, answer the question.
Saeed, no, listen. You know what it is again? It's just me giving credit.
To be fair, for England, I can't deny it. For England, he had
he's decent, isn't it?
And the whole of the England fan base gets giddy because he can head a couple of balls away. But for Man United, he's far more nervous for Man United on the ball than he is for England. So you gotta give what you gotta give. You gotta give credit. Apparently, according to Saeed, I don't give enough credit. So I've got to give Harry Beckenbauer some credit, maybe. We'll see. The biggest thing for me is this, isn't it? Like there are three things that have been alleged, isn't it? Right? 3 different people have been alleged. Apparently, a US investment company backed by Beckham. Somebody got in touch with me and said Beckham might be involved, and I'm like, Beckham? I don't know, man. I don't know. If you ask me, man, I'm almost kind of like, I want somebody to buy Man United who has no relation to Man United, man.
Absolutely.
That's what it's sentiment stuff, man. I don't want any of that emotional blackmailing stuff, man. I'm not here for that.
Well, we had it with Ollie, didn't we?
Yeah.
Where people kept him on and stuff. Oh, he were a fanboy and all this.
Look at Salford, though.
But then I do know Beckham is one of the only players originally who was Glazers out. Beckham was
They're gone now. They're gone. The whole idea isn't about the mindset. Isn't about Glazers out anymore because they're about to go. Well, this is what we hope.
They'll be gone. Trust me.
They'll be gone.
Nuruddin. Listen, we're live on stream. I would make you a sports news bet in the next 12 months from today that they're gone.
Yeah.
I'll make you a Sideman's bet if you want.
You can get giddy, Nuruddin, man. It's okay to get giddy.
If I ever come to Manchester, if you ever come to Manchester, I'll take you out for a nice meal.
And you know what? And I'll return that in favour. We'll take you.
Fair.
Like curry, I'll take you for a nice.
Fair dues.
But they don't go in 12 months.
12 months. 12 months today. Note it.
Yeah, I think ultimately, when you look at the Beckham situation, you only got to look at the Salford, man. That project, man. Look at the way they are in terms of like their ownership and whatnot. The amount of managers they're sacking as well. Gary Neville talks about long-term project, mate. I've never seen somebody managing.
Is that why he left, Saeed?
Well,
long-term project.
Yeah, long-term project and all that, mate. But listen, Beckham, not for me, man. Like I said, I think he's very, very emotional. Like as a person, and I don't think we could have that. We need someone who's rational rather than emotional.
We need calculated. That's
what I'm saying.
Person.
Rational, calculated,
logical,
logical.
Yeah.
They have to know what they're doing, So for me, ex-players, man, you'd be like, what did we say, boys? What's it called, boys? Job for the boys.
Jobs for the boys.
Jobs for the boys is back. And for me, Mike Phelan will somehow make his way back to Old Trafford.
I mean, Ed Woodward's trying, isn't he?
Ed Woodward, yeah. Would you take him back, knowing that if you would take the Glazers out and help with our owners, would you have him back coming back?
Who?
Ed Woodward.
No chance! Are you kidding me?
But if it meant the Glazers were going.
Say that again?
If it meant he was helping the Glazers go and he was helping the Rainers group establish what was going on next, and he was a man that was being brought because he knew the numbers and he knew the logistics behind it.
If he's going to just make sure the Glazers sell and see you later, and then after that, see you later, Woodward. Yeah. I'll take that.
Okay.
But if he's hanging around, apparently he might be involved in another big investment, this US investment.
No, sir, no.
Are you taking the biscuit? Like,
I've not heard that.
That's what I've heard. I'm like, are you taking the biscuit? Like, Woodward is swimming his way back into the club. like again, I'm like, I can't take it. I won't be able to take it.
But wouldn't you?
And then Matt Judge comes back. Then Matt Judge started doing a Todd Bowley. Starts buying players right left and center.
Matt Judge is probably thinking now, why did I leave now? Because now the Glazers are actually leaving. You know what I mean? They might all come back. That's the worst feeling that for me that would happen is that.
No, I don't.
Come in. I don't think that's going to happen,
even if it goes to Americans. I don't think they would bring these people back.
I feel bad saying I don't want Americans because there are good American owners, but I feel like I'm tainted by that. I'm scared.
I don't. It's the American sports. It's not so much against the American owners that I don't have anything to do. I don't have any problems with Americans per se or their lifestyle or anything. But their view on sport is different to ours. That's the only thing. Their view on sport is no relegation, no relegation, no promotion. If you like, all the financial pot goes to one major game at the end of the season. Kind of like in a way a mini tournament. Then you get to like something like the Super Bowl where it's the big cash draw. It's like the big lotto, and if you win it, obviously you get the big financials from it. You get the exposure, you get and obviously you get the trophy at the end of it. That's the American sports model. Ours is more competitive, and it's over a long sustained period. Like for example, a 38 game season in the Premier League. And obviously you have like the Christmas break in between. You'll have international breaks as well. They don't have that in America. In the NFL or in basketball, they don't have these like if you like the midterms where you have a major layover or a major break. Could you imagine the outrage that they would have in the NFL, for example, if they had something like an NFL World Cup and it completely teared through that season, like it's done with say football with the World Cup? And Todd Bowley's the easiest example. He came over here. He'd been over here 5 minutes, and I always say this point. He'd been over here 5 minutes, and he's already trying to tell the FA how to run their league. Or you should have a North East South All Stars game and all this bollocks. Like you've been here 5 minutes, Todd. We've let you into our home. We've literally give you a seat at the table, signed off so you can be the owner of Chelsea, to then come here and tell us how to run our league that we've operated for over 15, 20 years. Like it's scandalous, really, isn't it? But
it's honestly, it is. It's the biggest thing. First of all, there's no xenophobia on here.
No.
Absolutely.
We don't discriminate against anybody. All we want is somebody who's got a vision, a clear vision, a strategy for Man United in the next 5 years. So somebody comes in a plan, looks at the stadium, looks at the training ground, looks at the women's and the youth team, and thinks, right, they should have somewhere to play in Manchester, in and around Old Trafford. That's what we're looking for. So I don't care whether you're from Timbuktu, whether you're from the US, whether you're from the Middle East, whether you're from like India, I don't care. All I want is to think, how can we get Manchester United back to being successful? Challenging for Champions League and Premier League titles.
Yeah.
That is what we're interested in, because unfortunately, you can't do that organically anymore because of hence Man City, PSG, Newcastle, Liverpool, that somebody's going to take over Liverpool. And by the way, just to inform you guys, Liverpool, their new director of football has quit. Their CEO has quit. The guy who did the research into analytics and stuff like that, recruitment, has quit. And
Michael Edwards.
4 people have left there in the last year and a half. So Michael Edwards officially left, but he signed he signed an agreement that he can't go to any other club. Cheeky, aren't they? Liverpool made him sign a deal where he can't go to
that only lasts for a season, though.
Yeah.
A season.
Yeah. So next summer he'll be available to go to somewhere else. So then the guy who replaced him has gone. The guy who was running the club for FSG,
Joe Ward, yeah,
and then the research guy is gone as well. So it could mean two things. It could mean the fact that they don't do data analytics anymore, as in terms of using recruitment. So data analytics is the reason why Brentford are where they are.
Yes.
The most fascinating story in football for me, in modern football, is the Brentford story. People ask why. Brentford owner understands analytics and data and try to find out what the data is telling you. He buys footballers. They buy footballers. He bought Brentford, took them from mere Meadows in what was the old Division 2 they were in, into a Premier League club now using data. It's incredible. So Liverpool stop doing that anymore? Is Jurgen Klopp going to be the guy who's in charge of transfers? Or have they been bought already? Have they jumped
That's what I
already?
said, no,
and another rumor.
No. They haven't been bought already. It's funny how when Liverpool was for sale, I didn't hear anything about a Dubai, or you didn't have a mainstream businessman like a Sir Jim Ratcliffe. You didn't even have any like investment funds from America coming out getting linked to Liverpool. There was no major links to Liverpool. There was like
Tom, there was a Qatari, there was a Dubai, and a
No,
Qatari.
no.
It wasn't.
These weren't true though. Like
Yeah,
you
they weren't
can't.
true.
Like you've got the Investment Corporation of Qatar, which backs PSG. So the only people in Qatar that could buy Liverpool
Apparently, and
were
they want to sell
businessmen.
PSG, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they
heard
want to
that.
sell PSG, yeah, but they don't want to buy another football club though. So if they do sell, they don't want to buy Man United or Liverpool. But it's funny then. You're rolling a couple more weeks and Man United comes available. You've got Apple, you've got Amazon, you've got Facebook, you've got fucking everybody out there that's getting linked with Manchester United. And I think that just shows the brand appeal of Manchester United, because it's not just about the football club or the players on the field. For businesses or for businessmen out there, or even sovereignty states, they look at it as, well, the brand. To even just have the brand associated with, if it's a sovereignty state, for example, if it's Dubai, to have Manchester United associated with Dubai, that puts them on the world map. That's why I look at some of maybe even businessmen that we've never heard of. It's an attractive proposition for them because nobody will have heard of them. But if you have any sort of link to Manchester United, and the biggest link that you can have is be the owner of the football club, then like wow, that suddenly puts all your businesses that you own, all your establishments, on the world stage. Everybody knows about you. You'll probably be trending as the most Googled searched man on probably the world at one point in time if you become the owner of Manchester United, because people are going to want to know what you're about, where you're from, what you can do. But at the end of the day, it's all archived, should we say, because you've got two of the most, I would say, the most historical clubs in English football, aside from probably Arsenal might be in the mix, in Manchester United and Liverpool, who have that legacy and that history of tradition of the English football game. But the problem is, those traditions have been thrown out the window when Saudi Arabia bought Newcastle, when Abu Dhabi bought Manchester City, for example. But there was a point that the sports minister of Saudi Arabia made, for example. He made the point that he'd want Saudi investors to buy Manchester United. But I don't believe that that's a good move by Manchester United if it was sold to Saudi investors, because you have the investment fund of Saudi Arabia, which is, well, it's not confirmed, but I think a lot of people know it's controlled and dictated by the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. It's his wealth fund, isn't it, at the end of the day, in his country? But you're going to have businessmen inside Saudi Arabia who buy another football club that competes in the same major league, who's going to be funding it. And we know about the dictatorship in that sort of country. We don't need to get into the sort of deaths or the horrific, acts of hate or crime that go on in that country. You have that man, and then you have who owns one football club, basically, and then you have the business investors that own another. I think people know the side of the story that I'm trying to get at here. It's not going to go well either way. And this is the problem why I think it has to be smart. If it's somebody from the Middle East, it has to be right in terms of Manchester United are the only club in that country or in that state to be owned, if it's going to be a state ownership. If it's a business model, I think from the business model, from the projection that's been out there of Manchester United fans, they are aiming more at Sir Jim Ratcliffe as the businessman to take the model. But I have my skepticisms about him from my own point of view anyway. And then obviously you've got what you mentioned a couple of days ago, Nuruddin, about investment bankers from America, which we know about investment companies, don't we? They'll invest 10 billion, they'll want 20 billion out of it in 10 years' time.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Unfortunately, that's just how investment companies work at the end of the day.
But we need to see someone who sees United as a plan and a project.
That's the thing, though.
Investment.
This is what I think you need, though, Said. I think you need to whittle it down to maybe 3 candidates, and then those 3 candidates have a 2-week period to then make a plan. They have to structure it a 5-year plan. What is your projection plan for Man United? And you need to publicise it to the fans. The fans, let's take it for example, you have an American investment company, you have Ratcliffe, and you have Dubai, for example, like you've put in the title, Nuruddin. Those three organisations or ownership models need to have their own plan, and they need to project it to the fans. And then let's see how the fans react to that. because they're going to react either positively or negatively at the end of the day.
And this is what I wanted to ask when I brought up about Liverpool. There allegedly that both Man United and Liverpool have been sold, because this has been going on for a long time. Man United been on the sale. It's been 8 months ago. It's 8 months ago. Towards the end of last year, people were talking about United being sold. The Liverpool thing, the way they came out, and that's why the same people have been leaving Liverpool, because Liverpool have been sold already. But obviously, this is all top secret. This is all to do with the financial services of the US, because obviously both our clubs are US owned. But the biggest thing for me is that, what would you choose, you three? Are you backing a Beckham US base? Caleb says here, no more Americans, only oil money or Sir Jim. Right? Well, beggars can't be choosers, mate. At the end of the day, anybody, you know what I think, me personally, how much I hate and despise the Glazers. I literally want anybody but Glazers, because I don't believe you are going to buy and spend a lot of money on Man United and then mismanage it the way the Glazers have mismanaged it.
There's also a case for mismanagement. You know what I mean? Just because the Glazers were that bad doesn't mean there's going to be another good owner. You never know, Nuri. That's why, for me, I think we need a project, we need a plan. I think the Arab guys will see South Manchester the way it is in that area, Old Trafford, everywhere. And they'll look at it and think, you know what, we're going to build a project there. We're going to build a plan, training ground. I think they're competitive. They've got a competitive nature. And I think that's what we could be looking for, that kind of investment. You look at East Manchester, Nordy. You've been to East Manchester, how they've revolutionized it in the last 10 years. You know, they've made it unbelievable. Flats. And I think this is where I don't know if we can get involved, but that's why we call City a council house, because the city was owned by the council. But the council
was owned by all of us. It was owned by all of us, taxpayers, Manchester taxpayers.
There you go. But the city council said to these Arab owners,
Stadium. It was the Commonwealth Stadium, yeah.
Yeah. So the city council said to the owners, well, you've got to make sure you invest in the area, and they said we'll do it. So we need people that are not only hungry for the area, but in terms of development, you know, wanting to come to Man United. Because at the end of the day, yes, we've got a club with history, but we need to have a new history as well, in terms of bringing a new breed of fans who are going to come in and say, you know what, we see this as a club where it's a community. You know, you can do things outside of football. You know, the women's team, you have to play sports learning more. So there's lots of things to do, you know. There is a lot of things to do. And I think only the Arab owners will see it, because when you say, Tom, you know, the American owners might see an investment. Bro, I don't want investment. I want to see a project, a plan. Stadium is renovated. Apparently, the stadium to renovate. What did you say? Was it you, Noreen, that said it?
Yeah.
It's gonna take how many years to actually renovate it?
It's gonna so the plan
it depends on the south stand, doesn't it?
Yeah. So the plans that the Glazers had. First of all, Manchester United, nothing can be done anywhere near the Munich tunnel and stuff like that without rail net. You know, like
without the metro laws. Yes.
National rail. So the Glazers commissioned a group of people, architects and engineers, to basically look at renovating. So they didn't want to build another stadium. They knew they wouldn't have the money to build another stadium. So they're talking about renovating the Old Trafford, you know, renewing it and everything else. That's going to take time, right? Anything of the right-hand side of this, you know, hotel football, that side, you know, all the thing behind it, that's where the new stadium can be built. So a new stadium, Old Trafford is lovely. We love it to bits. To me, renovating Old Trafford, I don't think you can renovate it. I think you need
You can. I think you can. No, Look at Real Madrid.
No, but you can. But listen, Real Madrid have been slowly but surely renovating throughout all its period. Real Madrid have been fixing things that are structurally wrong with the stadium, And then what they did during lockdown is revolutionize the whole stadium, modernize it from the inside upwards.
But the location of it, Nuruddin, it's city centre. You've got the road lines, which obviously there's dictatorships and guidelines over. You can't build over a certain height in case the structure collapsed. Just like we've just said with the rail lines, for example, with the South Stand, you can't build. The Glazer family, they put in plans to try and build over it. They put in plans to try and disrupt it, or build a tunnel underneath the stadium, if you like, and build over the stadium to make it reconstructed. But even if a new owner wanted to come in, they could completely just knock the stadium down, and rebuild on the same site. You don't have to move 50 miles away to somewhere else in Manchester, or move a different, move the goalposts to a different area.
But
You could take the car park, for example, and build on there.
Anyway, apparently, Man United own all of the land behind Old Trafford.
They do.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. So you've got more land to play with than you've even got where the stadium is already.
I've seen it with my own eyes, right? I went to Bilbao and I saw Atletico Bilbao where the old stadium was. They just built their new stadium across the road from where old stadium was.
Yeah. But no, it's a fright land. It's a fright land. It's very industrial. Look how old it is around Old Trafford. Can they get the industrial part of it? There's so much space there, Nuruddin, that I think is a joke. But it is very industrial. Is it safe for people to walk around? Is it, is there roads that are leading onto it? Because you've got to remember, is it not a few A roads, or is it roads that lead to Trafford Centre? It's not safe and friendly. That's the only problem as well.
Well, they'll have to shut it off, won't they? If they do maintenance.
It's actually prime. The only thing is that it's the major road that goes past the one that goes past
Trafford Park.
The one that goes past the Hotel Football is that road, so you couldn't get involved in, because that's a major road that goes.
That's what I'm trying to say to you, and it leads all the way to Trafford Park.
Yeah,
you go the other side.
Yes.
There's enough land to be built on. There's enough place to build a new stadium, to build a smaller stadium. To me, I think I can't see how Man United could go on, kind of refurb the South Stand without major return to that train track. Like, that train track is super important. Guys, there's over 100 of you in here. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Get involved, people. Get involved in this debate. Take your pick. Do you want an American investment with Beckham, or do you want the Dubai takeover, right? Or do you want Jim Radcliffe? These are the three options apparently that are out there for Man United. Yeah. And at the moment, what the rumors are saying is that Sir Jim Radcliffe is serious about making a bid, but apparently he might not be the only one. He might be with a fund. He goes to Dubai.
He's gonna lead a consortium, is what they're saying. Or he's going to have like a partnership with Ineos, who are going to go in it with him, who have like a net worth of 60 billion.
So let me get in the initial things. We'll talk about the stadium and. So Saeed, you prefer the Dubai? Would you prefer the Dubai? The Dubai, like Ahmed here was saying, bring about people who compete financially with Man City and Newcastle. Absolutely. And the only people who can compete with Man City and Newcastle is there another government wealth fund, state wealth
basically. Fund. And also the fact that I think they're competitive, Nuruddin, man. These guys, imagine they know that they've got another Emirati in Man City. Saudi as well, bro. Just imagine the competition levels to make Man United the best. These guys don't mess around, Even when they're making new hotels, new buildings, look what they're doing all around the Arab country. I know, obviously, we know that the workers and whatnot. We know that, but in terms of how fast they do things, they get it quickly done. So for me, I like that competitive edge in them, and I think they would want Man United to be the best in everything, though, best in class, every single thing. Best facilities, best season ticket, whatever you want to do. Like, I think they want to be the best. And I think, to be honest with you, with Jim Radcliffe, I'm not sure, man. This guy has been hovering around for a year and he's never come in with a firm interest. And people will say, oh, well, he's, that's how party works with negotiating.
He can't officially come out and say something. He can't officially say that United is for sale because he's also bound by his.
I wouldn't say that though.
But the only thing is though, he's done it before Man United, before all this blew up a week or so ago, like 2 weeks ago, about the Glazers potentially selling. He was in the media every single day. He was front back page news every single day in the newspapers in probably local Manchester. It was all over the news. It was well documented. He did interviews saying that if Manchester United was for sale, I'll bid. I'll lead a consortium. I'll do some way to try and finance a purchase of the football club. But now, as they've already put out there, that they're potentially looking at a sale, what has he actually done? Nothing. We've not heard him say a word. All we've heard is, he's looking at buying the football club. So he's basically just said what he said before. Has he not? I don't hear anything like, the finances are there for me to buy the football club. I can do it by myself. I can do it with Ineos. I can do it with, Jack the lad from Newcastle. There's no like information coming from his camp at all. Whereas you've just said, Nuruddin, that there's an investment bank in America that are looking at buying Man United. Dubai is obviously going to be an option, isn't it? Let's be honest. Yeah. They've got the financial wealth to outbid anybody in this market. If they want to buy the football club, they're probably going to buy it. If they really want to.
If truth be told, they're not just billionaires. These Middle Eastern guys.
No, they're trillionaires. Come on, they've got Newcastle have got net worths of like what 500 billion. No chance.
Exactly. The guy who owns Man City, he doesn't have to declare the family owner, the part of the kingdom in Dubai, right? They don't have to declare the fact that they've got this amount of billions because they're not under the restrictions of like financial services in this country. They're trillionaires, man, right? They're trillionaires. Any of these, but they're trillionaires. The thing that for me, what Leon Lesso is saying here, apparently there's a strict measures put in by Premier League to stop Glazer type owners from taking over clubs. So whoever takes over can't milk us without investing a lot of money.
Of course, there's strength to laws, man. The Glazers were a one-off. They were allowed to come in the Premier League. There wasn't laws and measures in place. That won't happen again. But at the same time,
it can't happen again, man. It can't happen.
No. I'm talking about the way the way they bought the club, though. That won't happen.
I'll say it for anybody out there. It can't happen with an American ownership because the Premier League legalized it for Todd Bowley, where he can't take any dividends or financial laws out of the club.
You know that only lasts for a decade. You know that. You know the anti-Glazer.
It lasts for 10 years. Yeah, but Nuruddin, before he even bought the football club, owners who had put their bids in found out about these clauses that they wanted to put into their ownership. They have to invest a model of £500 million into the technology of like the training ground, sports science, and everything. As soon as some of the owners or the suitors heard about that, they've got to put XYZ finances aside for this. You've got to show that you're flexible in terms of your transfer structure, your recruitment structure, getting the right appointments in place in terms of who you want to operate the club. When some of the owners and the suitors heard that, they didn't listen to it and they didn't go for it at the end of the day, did they?
I don't think some people smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Hit that notification button, it lets you know we're live, people. And make sure you check out the Straight Jacket podcast, which we filmed last night. It got heated. It kicked off in a debate straight away, people. Saeed came at me, telling me about Casemiro, about one in out of 10 chance of that goal going in. And all of a sudden, Casemiro is the greatest player the world has ever seen. He's better than him. We know what, listen, somebody said, I would prefer Apple. I don't know about you prefer Apple. Well, Man United will be banned on Twitter because Elon Musk is having a fight with Apple as we speak on Twitter.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
And guess what? Apple have done? They've made it so that you can't download Twitter on the App Store.
What Elon Musk's done is he's blocked all the Apple advertisement franchises on Twitter, so they can't advertise their brand on his platform.
Imagine Twitter wasn't available on App Store. So that's crazy. Then you only have to go on it through your desktop only. But then even desktop,
you got to go through the internet, haven't you?
It's crazy, mate. It's crazy what's going on.
I don't buy the Apple sort of.
What about Elon Musk on the subject? Will Man United prefer Elon Musk to buy?
No, thank you.
No, thank you. He's not.
Nah, thank you.
Why not? United fans were like,
Listen. I'll have Elon Musk. Right. Hang on. I'd have Elon Musk's sort of persona of I'm coming in. You're fired. You're fired. You can fire the whole fucking board and come in, right? But I don't trust this man to appoint the right people to restructure because he fired 2 of the executives and then 2 weeks later he brings them back. What's he going to do? He's going to come in, all right, let's have Ed Woodward as chief executive of the board. Let's have, Matt Judge, you can be CEO. Just switch the job title roles. What we're going to call the new stadium, SpaceX 1 or something. Yeah. Like, no, let's not go down that model. I mean, he paid like what? 4 times the value share price of Twitter, didn't he? He wanted to buy it for like 12 billion. He ended up paying 44.5 billion or something ridiculous like that. So the guy can't even get his numbers right. So we've just had that with the Glazer family, have we not? They're trying to evaluate the club at £9 billion, man. Like, nobody gonna touch it.
Listen, you know what? I think Claire's hit it right on the head. I just want owners to get us back. I want owners to get us back to the top and invest in the infrastructure.
Yes,
that's all we want.
That's all we want.
But listen, this is the question then: Should those who want to buy Man United, should they become open and transparent? Do you think the government should get involved? Because this is too serious. 17 years of playing with the Glazers. Do you think the government should get involved and everybody should?
No.
Listen, let me finish.
Get involved.
No, let me finish.
Go on, finish.
Get involved and make the process transparent as possible, so that fans know each buyers, whoever wants to bid for Man United, their objectives, their strategy, their 5 to 10 year plan, 20-year plan for Man United. Should that happen? Because with Chelsea, that almost kind of happened because the government, Chelsea were going to go broke because Ibrahimovic no longer could own that football club. So it was all done in a rush. One thing I'll tell you for a fact, this sale is not happening too long. And that's why when Tom wanted to bet me, clever clocks that he is, he didn't bet 5 months or 6 months time. He bet it 12
I said 12 months. 12 months, get it right, mate. 12 months from now, it'll be gone.
It could take longer, than some people are saying as well, because of
why do you think it'll take longer? Why?
Because the amount of bids need to be considered. All of the bids need to be considered. And then the Glazers then will have to choose who to sell to. So the question is, I'll ask you again, Saeed, should the government get involved in terms of because there is the football regulator is not there at the moment. Should the government get involved and should it be transparent to all Man United fans? What are the different bids? What kind of project? Like you said, you spoke that word, you chose that word, project. These new owners have for Manchester United.
No, I think for me, the government shouldn't get involved.
Obviously they were involved last time. The government got involved last time and gave the Glazers do what they want.
There you go, exactly. I think the government will get involved in a sense of legality-wise. They'll look to kind of make sure, we welcome the new owners of Man United. Because Man United is a prestigious club. You probably hear it in the House of Commons because there'll be a question that will be put out there. And you know what it's like, innit? Question time, the morality of these owners, what they like, what have they done in the past. There'll be that kind of questions. But ultimately, I think the government, and it'll be down to the FA, and the FA will smooth things over. They will find if they're fit and proper for owners and etc. etc. So for me, it's a big moment, man. I just think for me, these Glazers should pay for their crimes, man. You know what I mean? Can we get the Glazers on the judge? That's what we should be doing, man. Can we get the Glazers to stand for trial, Nuruddin?
Get them at the Old Bailey.
Honestly, man, get into the Old Bailey and just.
I always saying it. Lock up the Glazers for crimes against Man United fans, mate, and the Man United Football Club.
Bro, everything, man.
That's what they would be, honestly. Tom, should it be transparent, whether it's government involvement or football bodies in this country being involvement? Should the sale of Manchester United, after what we've been through the last 17 years, should it be open to the fans to basically to be open and transparent as possible so the fans know who's coming in?
Well, I think the Rain Group will do that because they gave they listed the 4-man shortlist that they had for Chelsea because you had the Ricketts family, you had Todd Bowley's consortium, you had the Saudi businessman, and you had another family, like an NFL franchise who were interested in buying Chelsea. So they did give the names out there. And obviously they put the plans in place where you had no dividends for 10 years, investment in technology and infrastructure at the football club within 2 to 4 years, investment development. So they put the right legalities in place for owners who had the finances to do it. And obviously the Saudi businessman pulled out in the end because he didn't have the equivalent finances at hand to do the deal. The Ricketts family pulled out because of the negative press that they got from the English media and the English fan base, where they said that you're not welcome. I think it was to do with X comments they'd made in the past about anti-Semitism or anything. Don't quote me on it, but I think that's what it was due to anyway. And then you head down to Todd Bowley, and then was it Steve? I can't remember what his name is now. Steve Penn. It begins with a P anyway. I can't remember. He's like one of the owners of a major NFL franchise. I can't remember what his name is. Anyway, it came down to them two consortiums, and Todd Bowley's one won the bet. But in terms of the government involvement and stuff like that, I don't think though. Like, I think similar to Saeed, I think whoever it goes to, if it goes to Sir Jim Ratcliffe, there won't be a question in the House of Commons. Let's be honest, because he's a British billionaire. If it goes abroad to America or the Middle East, something like that, there's more of a case that they will get brought up in terms of the government might have to get involved then, because it's an overseas investment, and they fucked Manchester United over once. So I wouldn't trust the government to not do it again, because they did it 17 years ago when they allowed people to come into the football club with debts to buy the football club.
Yep.
Basically remortgage it year on year out, and now they're going to let them leave richer when they're going to let them leave rich when they came in broke. What sort of an economic plan is that? It's not. And like Nuruddin said, it's crimes against Man United. It goes even beyond probably fraud. It's money laundering. You've let people that you literally. That's like Saeed being on the street, for example. I invite Saeed into my house, and then Saeed leaves as a millionaire, just because I've let him into my house, into my home, and then he's left me with fuck all. And Saeed goes and lives the high life in Dubai or Australia, wherever he wants to go.
Yeah,
with millions of pounds in his pocket, while I'm still scrounging around for what? Nothing. But at the end of the day, it's disgraceful, isn't it? Because the government have fucked up, well, they're pissed about with this regulator and all this bollocks. And being honest, I don't see a regulator being appointed in the next 5 years, being honest, because what is the hold up? You make a role and you appoint it. You find somebody who's suitable for the role. It's not hard.
Facts.
You know, the NFL, I think they have like 5 regulators in the NFL. You have 2 NBA regulators who are on the board of the NBA for basketball. Yeah, and I know they're American sports, but English sport is supposedly the biggest. Football supposedly the biggest franchise in world football. You've just seen the highest level of corruption with this World Cup. So I don't trust any regulators or government officials or parties or anything.
Look at the Super League.
So this is what I mean. So, and this is the one case of why I don't trust the American market, is because that model of football and those people will destroy English football. Yeah, people say that the Middle East is bad. These American people, the Middle East, do not want to change the laws and the physics of the English game. They just want to invest into it. The Americans want to come over here and tell you how to play your own game. Or they want to change the laws and the rules of it.
Not all of them.
Not all of them, but the majority of them who have shares in the NFL franchises, for example, their laws of their sports are no relegation, major financial gains in it. If you win, you get the lottery jackpot of 500 million or something ridiculous like that. It ruins the game. It ruins the clarity of it. And that's why I'm not shocked in it.
It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Listen, it's going to be interesting for me to see. But Saeed, so you say in Dubai Wealth Fund is a lot more better than anything that you've seen so far.
100% for me. I think for me that's the one. I think, you know what, we've seen other situations happen. We've seen other owners come in. Jim Ratcliffe, I think for me, if it was a year ago, I would have said, listen, bring him in. I think he's a man. We need that, the culture of him and what he brings. But when I found out all the stuff I did, and he was a Chelsea season ticket holder, and I seen his house.
Can I ask you both a question about Jim Ratcliffe? Right, I want one word answer. It's only one word answers, though, guys. It's only one word answers.
Let Saeed finish.
Go on.
All I'm saying is the fact that I've seen that, and then I've seen his actual investment in Nice, and I know Nice are not going to go anywhere, but it's the same principle. 90 million in 3 years, letting their manager go to PSG. When you look at it, that is a rival, isn't it? You're still in the league together. You're still, you know what I mean? To give him the manager as well. I just look at his whole kind of that tenure at there. It's not great reading, if I'm being really honest with you. It's not great reading. That's just my own opinion. And that's why I'm like, you know what? Stay away from that, Jim, Okay, beggars can't be choosers, but for me, he'd be my last option. You know what I mean?
Do you trust him, Saeed? That's what I was going to ask you. Do you trust him?
No, I don't, because I feel like if you're half-hearted about this and you've been back and forth, and then you're talking about I don't want to buy Liverpool. We don't care, why are you coming out and saying I don't want to buy Liverpool? Every United fan knows you don't want to buy Liverpool because you're a United fan, innit? So the amount of stuff that's come out of him, I'm just like, bro,
it's the PR cycle. It's what we're calling this one.
Yeah.
Listen, Saeed wants the Dubai lot because he wants 6G internet network at Old Trafford. Tell the truth.
To be fair, I don't mind. I get a little bit of 5G.
Saeed TV6. Look, it's the writings on the wall. Look.
Yeah,
you got the writings on the wall, mate. Saeed TV wants 6G, mate. 6G in that stadium where he can do a bit of commentary with Leslie in the East End, mate. That's what he wants. Mate.
We want a bit of commentary, man. We want some proper seats, man. Them seats are awful, man.
Do you trust him, Nuruddin, though? I'll ask you the question.
Okay, when I'm 6'4", my legs are trapped, mate. I have to. I swear to God. I swear to God, the glaze attacks on my knees, mate.
The glaze, I'm telling you.
My knees, mate.
When
I sit down, mate, it's like I can't move. You know what? And I got ADHD, so naturally I'm a fidgety kind of guy. I fidget a lot, right? But
do you not stand up? You know
what? When everybody stands, sometimes I sit down because when it gets to sit back down again, I have to contort my knees again. God. I can't tell you, but big up Alien Tellers. Did you see the Casemiro dance Brazil to victory? Yes, we did see that.
Yes, we did.
If you're in the posh seats, you get a bit of leg room.
Yo, that's why I like the posh seats. That's why I like the posh seats, man.
That's why he wants a new stadium, guys. There you go.
Yeah, the Saudi Zimbabwe will be here no matter what. Okay, man from Wuhan is telling us that. Big up Caleb Bailey says, didn't Avram meet Dubai for cricket? But it's more than that. Well, was it more than that? This is it. We don't know, innit? Because he was in Dubai, and actually. They were both in. Well, he went to Dubai. That it was the strangest time in it. It was last year December, if you remember, with all these things were going wrong. Ollie got sent on holiday. The whole of Man United went on holiday, by the way.
He went to Norway fishing, didn't he?
Fishing.
He went fishing. Ralph Ranier got bought in, and then a couple of months later, Ralph Ranier went to watch cricket in the Caribbean. And then
yes, he did. Yeah,
in Dubai talking about a potential cricket team takeover.
But they were there last month. They were there at the start of the month, Nuruddin. The Glazers and the I think Dubai group were together, I think, earlier this month. I think it was around the 14th. There's a picture on the MEN of...
where he sat with the Crown Prince, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not the Crown Prince. He sat with his son. What's his son called? Is it Ahmed? I can't remember. Yeah. His son, anyway, who's below his father, anyway, in the Dubai... royal family chain. He was sat there, and then he had his two. They googled him anyway. He had his financial advisor there, and then he had an economics advisor as well. And then they're all sat at the table speaking to Avram Glazer. You have your financial advisor and your economics advisor, but you want to invest in cricket. You don't have a sports minister there, for example. You don't have a cricket liaison officer. You have your financial aides there, basically. What I don't understand what's that.
In March, yeah, they had a meeting with the Man City Sheikh Mansour.
Okay,
did you know that?
Did they?
Yeah, they had a meeting.
So 8 months ago, then.
Yeah.
Well,
this is them. I think this is them when they had a meeting.
Yeah, that's the picture that I wasn't about.
Yeah, that's the picture.
Yeah. Because the Crown Prince's son is on the left. And then you've got his financial aid, which is the furthest sat right to Avram. And then you've got his economics advisor.
Yeah.
Big up Mohammed Gadiji in Ghana. Big up you guys watching you from live from Ghana. Big up to you guys watching live from Ghana. Big up, bro. Big up to everybody, man, watching globally, innit, whether it's afternoon, evening, or night. Big up to everyone.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I'll ask you the question.
If you're not already subscribed.
Yeah.
It says Neil Nelson, honestly, nobody will ever speak about it because the Glazers are from the West. But it's being the Middle East or Asian owner, media would be on their back. 100%, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, man.
Of course. And the Glazers weren't stupid. When things were getting a bit bad for them, they employed Neil Ashton. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Woodward was like, let's get Neil Ashton instead of director of football.
Innit? This is the craziest thing about it. They appoint him. Yeah, so now he's going to put a nice little spin on it, though. If the American owners come in, it's going to be like, they're not like the Glazers. They're different. They're looking to invest in this squad and everything.
We need a UK-based owner who is going to adopt a part fan ownership. We generate enough money as a club. Not need to divide outside. Yeah, but the only thing that I say with this is no owner wants to come in and fan share. That's the only problem. They want complete control. They don't want to have part ownership because let's put it this way: if Sir Jim Ratcliffe could buy it on his own, I think he would want to be the sole owner and not have anybody else involved, and it just be him. Same with Dubai. If Dubai come in, they ain't going to share with anybody, are they? They're not going to need a consortium of businessmen to go into business with, because this is the only thing that I have it with owners who want to come in and share with other people. You basically get into bed with 5 or 6 different billionaires that they've never done business with before or anything.
Yeah.
That's the only problem that I don't have, and that's the reason why I don't trust Sir Jim Ratcliffe in the same way that I would potentially a Dubai, or potentially maybe even more so than a US investment group, because an investment group have worked together for 20, 30 years maybe.
Yeah.
So there is a level of trust there that you can get with them, that they're going to work together. So Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos are similar in a way because he's a senior executive, but he's not a sole owner of Ineos. He owns it with 4 or 5 different board members at Ineos, which is then going to be hard to then get those 4 or 5 people to all agree, right, Ineos is going to buy into Manchester United with you, Sir Jim. It's so harder to do it like that model.
The only thing why I would agree with Evans Matchday Moments TV is that I want somebody to move into Manchester, to come and move here. If you're going to own United, I want you to be here. I want people from the family or whoever owns us to be present here, because
Man City owners that.
I want accountability here. I don't need. Nobody can go.
Man City owners aren't
though. It's against a lot of the protests in Dubai anyway. So
Man City owners aren't. Nuruddin. The Man City owners aren't. You have to have the structure people here and breathing it in the city. Did you watch? Listen, you don't want to watch these Man City videos yet, but have you watched a clip of how Soriano and Tixi they talking and they're in the actual training complex?
Are you on about the board meeting when they went through the financial directors plan?
Bro, go and watch. They're in the place. Big Steve always says to me that sometimes he might catch them after a away game. Sometimes they might come with. Bro, when do these guys they come rarely? These guys, the CEO one. We wanted to see them that they're in the stadium, around the training ground, around the people. We want to know that you're part of one mission. You're not just thinking that we're at the top and we're only here when we want to come. And that PR stunt by Rich and Arnold in the summer, mate. Are you having me on, mate? Honestly, when you look back at that interview now, a lot of the things they've done, they've just done it to kind of get by. That interview, that thing that he did with the fans was a joke, man.
That was a plea to sponsors, I think. I don't think that was aimed at the fans. That was a plea.
I know what's what I'm trying to say to you. It was a plea to say,
because the sponsors were on their back. TeamView were on about pulling out. If Manchester United don't qualify for the Champions League this year, the Adidas deal gets knocked down financially. So then you don't have that sponsorship money coming in. If they don't qualify for the Champions League, I think they're going to probably lose TeamView in the end anyway, because they're looking at pulling out. You then got to find another mainstream sponsor there, and your Adidas money's been cut. So suddenly, you've ended up worse off than you actually have when you're looking at trying to appoint new people. And then you look at the PR stunt when they bring the Tottenham architects in to try and redevelop or potentially rebuild Old Trafford. You don't have the money to rebuild it anyway, so what are you appointing developers for? What,
what I
to
mean?
say? Oh, this is what needs doing. What, you're going to hand the blueprints over to somebody else? If you don't have the money to do it, don't appoint people to buy it.
It's exactly the same thing about the fan share. They only did it for things. Guys, get the likes up. Big up to everybody.
Come on, man,
the only modern English to adapt from America is the playoff style competition for their domestic cups, except for the Premier League. I don't know.
Can I ask you a question, though? Does that make you a bit worried what I just said, though, in terms of, actually what Tom raised, in terms of them having a plea for money? You know, is this an investment, or do they want to sell? I'm like I said, I know
why they put it on. It's an investment side. I've been telling you this for the past 6-7 months, that something had to give. The Glazers can't afford the stadium redevelopment, the training ground money. They don't have the money. They didn't have the cash. They don't have.
So what do they do then? So explain to me, how do then, because these guys whoever's investing want a bit of rights. They want a bit of stake in the football.
They want control, don't they? They want to say.
They have to listen. They asked the Saudi guys who own Newcastle. They asked them, we'll give you, the Glazers told them, we'll give you 30% of the shares, Class A shares. That means 0 vote, 0 power in terms of how the club's going. They asked them, and they said,
for 700 million pounds,
we're not taking that. For 700 million. 30% for 700 million. So they've been looking for investors, but there's no investors out there who are going to just be passive investors who the Glazers are going to just take their money, just going to give the Glazers money. But anyway, guys, listen, are we getting to the end? I just really want to get your points of views on Gary Neville. I don't know those of you who heard it, but I'm going to play some because I can't be done for copyright if I play the audio. So listen and let me know what you guys think.
Don't play it all. Don't play it all.
Yeah, not all of it. Not all of it.
Yeah.
There's also a very narrow window around the Chelsea valuation that I think was overhyped. Yeah. Also Liverpool selling. Yes.
So I'll just go back.
There's a need for equity and cash in the club just for the infrastructure investments and spend put in for the stadium, the training ground, the sporting project. They haven't got enough money. Yeah. They've got the debt in the club at this moment in time, which they can't increase. The debt market's collapsed. And there's also a very narrow window around the Chelsea valuation that I think was overhyped. Yeah. Also Liverpool selling. Yes. Super League falling away. The Glazers obviously getting a lot of criticism and persistent protests. There's no doubt the time is now, and it's been coming for 6-7 months, where if you were close enough to the situation in Manchester, you knew that they had to do this. And there was a narrow window to do it. And I thought from the start of the season it had to be within 12 months, and here it is. It's a big moment now for the club. And the Glazer family will never get a great exit from Manchester United. But they could have a more pleasant exit, I think, if they do it right. Yeah. And I'd like them to see them over the next couple of months engage properly with the family.
Right. So he's talking about the Glazers there. I'm going to move it on to what else he's talking about. So Gary Neville, to be fair to him, right, don't always agree with him. Don't always agree with our guys. Don't agree with our guys on everything.
Political gab now.
You know what I mean? To be fair, he started cooking the government here, Saeed. And Tom, he started saying all the quiet parts really out loudly the other day. He came out fighting, man. He came out fighting the other day. People are trying to silence him. But the biggest thing is that people have known. That's why I played this, Saeed. Everybody's known the Glazers don't. And he just said because he's a businessman, Gary Neville, whether you like it, he's quite a successful businessman actually in and around Manchester. If you know. Very successful. So he said the debt market is collapsed, so they can't borrow any more money. Thank God for that. For the first time ever, as the United fan base, we were like, get in there, a bit of global recession. Because if it was financially all good, guys, the Glazers will literally fill their boots on thing. We're here for the next another 20 years. So that is what's going on right now. So when you hear that, you know that he said they need a pleasant exit. Meaning that Man United, the people who buy Man United have to have big pockets. Because I would be exactly what the brother said up there. I want a Manchester-based guy, somebody who's a United fan, like he says here. We need a UK-based here. That's what I would like. But unfortunately, we don't live in that world anymore. We live in Saudi trillionaires owning Newcastle. Man City, look what they've done. Saeed system. When I go to that, I hardly ever go to that side of the city, you know what I'm saying? Because it fucking hurts me. It hurts me. When I go over there, it hurts me to see what they've done with that area. See what they've done. How they put them a women's stadium, a youth team stadium, all their training complexes. My cousins are some of their coaches at Man City. You think I ever want to go down there?
I know.
I had to take. Was it last season? I took two. Well, when we came back from the lockdown, I took my cousin's kids, two of them, because he was working. I took the kids to the game.
Signori, do you take Signori?
Disgusted. I was disgusted being there, but the both of them City fans are like, Uncle, you got to take us. I've got to take them. I got to take them because their dad can't go. But it hurts me what they've done to that side. So whoever takes over has to have big pockets. They have to, because that ship is sailed. The genie's out the bottle, people. The genie's out the bottle. I just want to play another section, but Saeed, this is where I don't want to, because I don't want anybody who's abusing human rights.
Yeah, of course.
What billionaire in the world is not abusing human rights?
They've got skeletons in the closet. That's what it is.
This is what I mean. What other millionaire hasn't? And this is my situation. But like I said, Gary Neville, in a sense, like I said, he is right. And, these owners haven't got the investment anymore. They haven't. And I don't know if you heard about Juventus today, but they could be relegated, I don't know if you've heard as well, by the way.
Well, they got relegated in 2006, didn't they?
Yeah, there's proper deep issues, man. And I think ultimately, when you look at it, they've finessed the football club for so many years. They're going out with 6-7 billion profit.
Saeed, we just agreed, didn't we, mate? Like they came in debt and they're going out rich.
Yeah, they're going out rich, and this is.
Neil Ashton's got to him.
Neil Ashton, mate.
Anyway, yeah, we'll wait for Saeed to come back.
I'm gonna play this little part again. I'm gonna play.
Yeah, go on. We'll wait for Saeed to come back.
Did you just not understand it back then? Did you not feel football wasn't a place at that point for players to have a voice on those kind of matters? What was it? I'm sure you do regret it.
I don't want to come up with excuses, probably, to be fair, because we were successful. We were managed by Sir Alex Ferguson, who, you stuck to football. Let's stick to football on Twitter. With Sir Alex Ferguson, you stuck to football. There was no player, no member of staff ever spoke out against the leverage takeover. When it happened, we got on with winning trophies and winning Champions Leagues and winning leagues. And the club, to be fair, carried on being successful. And I worked on the theory at the time that we could have worse owners. They were quite passive. They didn't interfere. I never saw any interference whilst I was at the club for that 7 or 8 years that I was still there. When Sir Alex Ferguson left, it's then that I started to realise that they only were successful because of Sir Alex Ferguson. And actually, they've not been able to develop a successful sporting project without him. So the fact of the matter is, they're taking dividends out. They've not developed the stadium. They let the training ground go to ruin. They really are second class when it comes to the sort of status of our sort of infrastructure at the club and our facilities. That can't happen, and we're not successful on the pitch. So you put all that together, and that's where you get to a point whereby, no, enough's enough. And I started to speak out, obviously, 2 or 3 years ago. Many fans will say, you should have done it earlier, and I cannot disagree with them. And I can have regrets about it all my life, but the reality of it is I have spoken out in the last 2 or 3 years quite a lot. I haven't enjoyed what I've seen. Maybe the signs were obviously there 15, 20 years ago, and those fans were right. But let's not make sure that we jump out of the frying pan into the fire.
Yeah.
And we make sure we have a new ownership. I have expressed my concern about state ownership. I've expressed my concern about US investment. But
well, Tom, what do you say to that? What do you say to that? What do you say to what he's saying about the regret? So those of us, so I want to vindicate every United fan in the last 17 years who protested against it, because Gary Neville practically is apologizing to us, saying that he should have got involved. To be fair to Gary Neville, like whether you disagree with him, whether you agree with him or not, he was the first vocal point, other than David Beckham putting on a scar. He was the only player, like ex-player, who's really come out and said, nah, these guys are taking the mick. And called out, Woodward. He actually called out Woodward before he ever called out the Glazers first. I remember him calling out Woodward after Van Gaal got sacked.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then he called out Woodward again when Jose was under a lot of pressure. But what do you think to that, Tom? Him basically saying those fans were right, that we were right. Our instincts were right.
Well, he's basically admitting, isn't he? He's basically admitting when he was a player, the fans' voice was heard by the players, as well as it probably will have been heard by the owners. But when you're getting paid, when you're earning a living under an ownership, when you're doing the job that you've dreamed of doing, which is playing football at the highest level, it's very hard to then outspeak as an owner at the ownership when you're just a player. But now Gary Neville's in a position of power where he's an integral part of a broadcasting company such as Sky Sports for his tactical analysis and his financial analysis that he knows because of being a very successful businessman in and around Manchester. Like you said, Nuruddin, if you know, you know. So at the end of the day, when he says these sort of things, it's understandable. You can hear the voice that he's coming out with. And it's not he's coming out of, oh, I need to protect the brand. I need to protect my businesses. I need to protect my broadcasting career. He's coming out as a fan now. And I like this with pundits where it's not a case of, all right, let's muddy launder. Let's wash the dirty laundry for the Glazer family. The likes of like Rio Ferdinand did with the Ralph Ragnick PR spin, and the washing machine that he did, that he was doing around the Ralph Ragnick claims. But now, when you take it into consideration with what Gary Neville has said with the ownership, you can understand why he's coming out and being apologetic, saying sorry, these sort of things, because it's relatable, it's understandable. The fans have had a voice for 17 years. They weren't welcome 17 years ago, and they're not welcome now. And they're not going to be missed when they do go in the Glazer family. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. And like Khalid Belay has said, the Glazers should also pay off the debt as they leave the football club. Well, a fun fact anyway, if the Glazer family do end up selling the club, with their price tag and evaluation...
I think everybody's left me. The batteries died. Saeed's batteries probably died. Laptop died. Tom's batteries died. Everybody's left me. But anyway, people, Caleb Bailey says, thanks for the super chat. He says, the Glazers should also pay the debt. 100%. 100%. They should pay the debt before the new buyers. But then, to be fair, maybe new buyers will get a discount. Let's say the new buyer was going to buy Man United for 5 billion. They would only buy it for 4.5 billion because the debt, you know what I mean? So it is what it is, people. It's really interesting. Mohammed Ahmed says it's nonsense. You can't compete with City relying on what we generate only. No, we can't. No, we can't. Unfortunately, we can't. We genuinely cannot because, yeah. In the old days, maybe we could have competed let's say if Man City owners were not here, if the Saudis were not here in Newcastle, maybe we could compete. If Roman Abramovich wasn't at Chelsea, we saw it a long time. We couldn't compete with Roman Abramovich. It took time. Only we competed because he was sacking managers right, left, and centre. But just to continue a little bit what Gary says,
let's not make sure that we jump out of the frying pan into the fire.
Yeah.
And we make sure we have a new ownership. I have expressed my concern about state ownership. I've expressed my concern about US investment. But whoever comes in, it's likely to be a US investor, potentially going to be a state-owned project. We need to know what the manifesto is. We need to understand that what they're going to do in that first 5 to 7 years, display the intent of building Manchester United up to be what it should aim to be, which is the greatest football club in the world.
You mentioned there Liverpool also being for sale. We're in an unprecedented.
So there, Gary Neville is in the know. When it comes to these things, I listen to what Gary Neville says. I know some people go, oh, you don't agree with him. But I listen to what Gary Neville says. Why? Because he's in the know. He's a diehard Manchester United fan, like Tom said. And he is in the know because he is curious about who's going to be coming in. He literally said, and I repeat, if you caught that, he said it's going to be a US-based finance that might be backed by a state fund. That's what he said. That's what he said. Big up Mark Goldberg. He says, no, the Rain Group will run competitive process of the highest bidder. Rain Group gets the paid as a percentage of total value higher, better for them. 100%, I agree. I agree for that. Of course, they're in it for the money. Juventus, the Juventus, what's happening there is crazy. Juventus board has resigned and now under a new investigation. Wow. Well, you know what happens in Italy. You know what I mean? You know what happens in Italy. But guys, honestly, that is over 130 of you watching a moment ago and only 59 likes. 56, 59 likes. It's crazy. Get the likes up, people. Big up Alicia sinking over. Alicia's saying, listen, I choose to cycle to the stadium, Alicia. I choose because that's how I beat the traffic. That's how I beat the traffic. I don't like being stuck in traffic. waiting in traffic like that, with twiddling my thumbs. By that time, I've already locked the bike up. I'm already inside the stadium. So Alice can come with all the limousine she wants, but I'm getting to the stadium before her or anybody else. Just know this. When you throw around there, you know how to get there quickly. You know how to get there quickly. Big up everybody, by the way. It's crazy what's happening. You know what? I think, I won't say RIP Juventus, you know, there's a historic football club, but I just, because, you know, and I feel bad for their fans, because the fans don't deserve what's been happening, the mismanagement. But all I know is, people, is that the Super League is done now. It's done out here. Super League cannot happen. So it's going to be very interesting. Neville spitting facts about the World Cup as well. The Western media hypocrisy is double standards. 100%, 100%. Listen, I'm for human rights. I'm for anybody gay, trans, whatever you want it to be. Whatever pronoun you want to be named by, I'm going to call you that. Because I'm going to respect every human being, regardless of race, gender, nationality, ethnicity, religion, non-religion. I respect every human being. But the idea that the West care about migrant workers, or Western country and Western media care about LGBTQI plus people, is absolutely laughable. Or they care about women's rights in Iran. It's laughable. It's all laughable, people. And if you are buying into that propaganda, then I can't help you. I cannot help you. I'm sorry, I can't help you. But big up to everybody. And love to every one of you. Allegiant dreams can be reality in terms of ownership. What's your Insta so we can discuss it further? Easy now. Bit of romance going on by Club and Alicia Sinkanova. Hey. Get it, hey! Big up Caleb Bailey. Bailey, he's throwing his shot, people. He shot his shot. Let's see what Alicia comes back with. I'm telling you, Alicia. Alicia comes back with, I used to have MySpace. Oh my God, this is killing me. This is killing me, people. They got Tom as well, yeah. I'm telling you, Neil Aston, but they can't get me. They can't stop me, people. They can get Saeed, they can get Tom, but they can't take me. Yeah, I am not. They can't come and get me. Check Alicia out, you know. Alicia Sinkanova, how do you know I go to the theatre? Eh? How do you know? Are you Neil Ashton in disguise, Alicia Sinkanova? I think Alicia Sinkanova is Neil Ashton in disguise. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, it is Alicia in disguise. It's Alicia Sinkanova is Neil Ashton in disguise. Or it might be Ed Woodward. Big up Nadeem. Nadeem says, also Neville was playing. Social media wasn't there. Fan channels weren't there. We only got fed up with the paid journalists printed and their access to the club. 100%, 100%. Even but Nadeem, do you remember we were against the Glazers from day dot? I went to the first protest when they came here. The first day they came here, the call out. There was a massive call out to everybody who loved Man United, word by word. People were talking about in the pub. Oh yeah, apparently the Glazers are coming next week. They're buying Man United. We were all outside Old Trafford. You could go and look on YouTube, people. There was an absolute riot. I got absolute truncheon to the back of my head. On my shoulder here, I remember on my shoulder blades, I was getting battered by police. Honestly, this is no word of a lie. Bins were set on fire. Heavy police escort to escort them out of the stadium. It was no joke. So I'm glad that Gary Neville recognized the contribution to the fans of fans knowing what was going on. Big up. Big up. Never forget, Mr. Structor, you and Alice are the greatest. I appreciate you, but wow, we appreciate you too. Even though if you're Neil Ashton in disguise. We're only joking about that. Murdoch and Co. calling you, were calling Ukraine neo-Nazis before war. It was xenophobic and fabricated. I'm just, hey, we can talk into that all day, every day, people. Nuruddin, what if Liverpool get better owners? Well, then we are screwed, aren't we? We're screwed. So we can't sing 20 times in Man United, can't we? We can't sing 20 times Man United, can't we? We can't sing that. We can't. Thomas Saeed have run off with a leash shot of. No, listen, if Liverpool get better owners, we're screwed, people. Because if Liverpool, Newcastle, and Man City, we're done out here. We're done out here. I just wish it was all about billionaires. Man United came successful. And the money, we made the money by winning. We generated that. Man City haven't done that. Newcastle haven't done that. But I don't blame their fans. I don't blame their fans. Everybody wants their football club to be successful. If football was going back to just a local guy who owns you and then it'll be free for all, then yeah. But in American sports, you can't take over another club. It's really difficult to sell a club in America. Really difficult. And they're very strict. They don't spend some ridiculous amount of money in certain things. They don't have no promotion or relegation. It's all about making money. So it's harder for American investment company to buy American football team or basketball team than it is for them to buy a Premier League team. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Now, 100%. But Liverpool get Arab owners. They have history before compared to Man City. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, we'll check that out. Big up, man. Even though I don't like that absolute slime mug, Piers Morgan. Yeah. Now, big up, let's 100% American sports. All about capitalism. It is. But listen, people, please smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're already subscribed. And hit that notification that lets you know when we're live. We might do tonight. I might do another show tonight just about who's gone through England's group, obviously. Let's have a look at the games. England's group. Who's playing England's group, man? The games, there's 2 games at 3 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just go back, man. Football fixtures. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's now 3 o'clock. It's going to be Ecuador versus Senegal, Netherlands versus Qatar. And then tonight, Iran versus US and Wales against England. And if you live in the UK, the Group A games will be on ITV, I think. They'll be on ITV. And the Group B games tonight will be on the BBC. But bank us out, glaze us out, people. Bank us out, glaze us out. Big up England. Big up England, Wales, lol. Nice show. Big up to every one of you. I like Newcastle fans. Yeah, of course. We've got a lot of love for Newcastle. Listen, I even feel bad for Juventus fans. I have love and compassion for all fans from every club because they're football fans like us, and they're not in control of what's happening in their football club. They're not in control. They're not. It is what it is. But win, lose, or draw, Glazers out, bankers out, people. Because for me, I'm still in doubt if the Glazers are going to sell. I still don't believe it. I have to see it to believe it. I have to see it to believe it. Trust me. There we go. I think majority of people, I want England and Iran to go through. I think most people would take that. That's how it is, people. That's how it is. Well, come on. Come on, man. We like Liverpool fans. Well, we are the biggest, most 2 successful clubs in English football. Of course there's going to be rivalry. There's rivalry, but I don't hate Liverpool fans. They're just human beings. I don't know them personally, but I don't hate them. I don't hate them. I like Man United and Liverpool to be competing for the title because that'll make it excitement. That excitement will be unparalleled. That will be a proper traditional like rivalry. I don't have any hate for Liverpool fans. Most Liverpool fans don't have any hate. Yeah, we don't like each other because the rivalry, but there's no hatred. I don't feel the hatred. I don't. Like Leeds fans have serious hatred for Man United. Serious hatred. That's why will never go to another Leeds away game ever again. Never. Trust me, I've told that story before. But win, lose, draw, Glazers out, Bankers out. We have to all see it. I have to see it to believe it, people. But what I'm telling you, there's going to be an absolute party in Manchester. We're going to party like it's 1999. If the Glazers sell Man United and we get decent owners, good owners, there's going to be a party in Manchester, and you're all welcome. Love, light, peace. Take care. Smash a like on the video.